Every backyard barbecue, every family reunion, every time somebody new finds out what I did for a living, I get the same question, and it is never about water heaters. Folks lean in, drop their voice, and ask me, what is the worst thing you ever pulled out of a drain? 45 years in this trade, and I have never once given the whole answer. Too long, too gross for the potato salad. Well, you are not eating potato salad, are you? Today, you finally get the full list. The 12 worst things I have ever pulled out of a drain, counted down to number 1, and everyone comes with the lesson that keeps it out of your house. I will tell you this much up front. Number 6 is the one almost nobody ever thinks about. And number 3 is the only story here, with a happy ending. Pour your coffee. Let's get into it. Number 12, the toy parade. Number 12, the toy parade. Over the years, I have pulled a Matchbox car, a rubber dinosaur, a plastic cowboy, and one very loved green army man out of toilet traps. How does it happen? A 3-year-old and 30 seconds of privacy. To a little kid, the toilet is a magic disappearing machine, and honestly, they are not wrong. Here is the lesson. When a toilet clogs right after the grandkids were in that bathroom, stop flushing. I mean it. Every flush drives that toy deeper into the porcelain. Get yourself a closet auger, about $30 at the hardware store. It is a short cable with a bend made just for toilets, and it will either hook that toy and bring it home or tell you it is wedged good. If it is wedged, you pull the toilet. 2 nuts at the base, a $5 wax ring, a towel on the floor, 20 minutes. I once ran 3 service calls for the same rubber dinosaur. How did I know it was the same dinosaur? I signed all 3 tickets. On the 3rd visit, I taught the homeowner the auger, so there was never a 4th. Number 11. The teeth number 11. The teeth. I once fished a full set of dentures out of a toilet for a gentleman who swore up and down he had no idea how they got there. Between you and me, I believe a sneeze was involved. It happens more than you would guess. Dentures, partials, retainers, and one time a gold crown worth more than my truck payment. Here is what saves you. When something falls into a toilet, it usually sits right there in the trap, that S-shaped bend built into the bowl. Do not flush, not even once. Put on a long rubber glove and reach in, or use a cheap grabber tool. Past the bend, that closet auger from number 12 earns its keep again, or you pull the toilet. The bathroom sink version is even easier. A partial that slides down the sink is sitting in the P-trap under the vanity, guaranteed. Bucket underneath. Spin off the 2 slip nuts by hand. Tip it out, rinse well, reel well. Costs you nothing but a paper towel and a little dignity. Number 10, the Thanksgiving special. Number 10, the Thanksgiving special. I will tell you a trade secret. The busiest day of the year for a plumber is not some frozen night in January. It is the Friday after Thanksgiving. In the trade, we call it Brown Friday, and I wish I were joking. I once stood in a kitchen where both sides of the sink sat full of gray water, and what I pulled out of that line was potato peels, 2 pounds of them, whipped by the disposal into something like wallpaper paste. Peels, rice, pasta, coffee grounds, celery, onion skins. The disposal chops it all just fine, and then it swells and mats together a few feet down the pipe. Your disposal is not a garbage can. It is for the last little bits you rinse off a plate, nothing more. If yours ever jams, unplug it first. There is a socket for a 1/4-inch Allen wrench in the center underneath, and you rock it back and forth to free the plate. Never put your hand in the chamber. That is what grabber tools are for. Scrape plates into the trash before they touch the sink, and the day after the holiday stays a holiday. Number 9, the creature. Number 9, the creature. A lady called about a tub that had drained slow for over a year. I ran a little hook down that drain, gave it a twist, and pulled out something I can only describe as an eel. A foot and a half of hair, soap, and toothpaste, all woven tight. And I will swear on my license it moved on its own in the light. She screamed. I may have joined her. Here is how it grows. Hair does not dissolve, ever. It catches on the crossbars under the stopper, and then soap scum mortars it together one shower at a time until you have got a creature. The fix costs less than lunch. A plastic zip strip tool, about $3, has little barbs down both sides. Run it into the drain every couple of months. Pull up and drop what comes out in the trash. Then a $10 silicone catcher over the drain ends the problem for good. Skip the jug of harsh chemicals. That stuff does not grab hair. It burns your nose, it beats up old metal pipes, and the clog just laughs at it. Number 8. The litter box mistake. Number 8. The litter box mistake. A fellow bought cat litter with the word flushable printed right on the bag, and he believed it for 2 years. What I found in his line was a gray sludge that had set up around everything else passing by, like wet mortar that never fully dried. Think about what clumping litter is. It is clay, and its one job is to grab moisture and harden into a lump. It does exactly that inside a 3-inch pipe, and it does not care what the bag promised. We cut that section out in pieces, and every piece came out heavy as a curbstone. The lesson is short, and it is not negotiable. Nothing labeled flushable goes down your toilet except plain toilet paper, not litter, not wipes, and oh, we are getting to wipes. Just you wait. Litter gets bagged and goes in the trash. No exceptions for the expensive brands. If you have been flushing it, stop today and count yourself lucky you caught this video before your pipes caught the consequences. Number 7. The pipe-shaped rock. Number 7. The pipe-shaped rock. A nice couple had their bathroom remodeled. Gorgeous tile work, and for 1 week the crew rinsed their grout buckets and mud tools in the bathtub. 6 months later, nothing in there drained, and my cable bounced off something down in the line like it had hit granite, because near enough it had. Grout, thinset, joint compound, plaster. Those materials are designed to cure rock hard, and some of them cure underwater just fine. That is the whole point of them. What we finally cut out from under that floor was a 2-foot cast of the inside of the pipe, solid as a river stone. You could not chip it with a screwdriver. Believe me, I tried. Here is a lesson that costs absolutely nothing. During any project in your house, mud water, grout water, paint, plaster, drywall dust, none of it ever goes down a drain. Rinse buckets outside over gravel or into a trash-lined pail that goes to the curb. If a crew is in your home, tape a friendly note on the tub. 1 week of convenience turned into 4 figures of torn-up floor. A sticky note is cheaper. Mid-roll subscribe CTA. Quick pause while the countdown catches its breath. If you like stories that end with money staying in your pocket, subscribe to the Vintage Pipefitter. Every week I walk you through one real repair in plain language, the kind of know-how that usually takes years on a truck to pick up. It is free, it takes a second, and it will be here when something breaks. Number 6. The visitor. Number 6. The visitor. This is the one almost nobody ever thinks about, so lean in. A homeowner called me about scratching sounds in his basement. Figured he had mice in the walls. I lifted the grate on his floor drain, and a rat looked up at me. A live one, wet and unbothered, like I was the one trespassing. He had come up from the city sewer, and I want you to understand what that means. The only thing that ever stands between your home and everything living down in that sewer, the gas, the roaches, the occasional swimmer, is a few inches of water sitting in a trap under each drain. Every fixture in your house has one. Here is the problem. A drain nobody uses dries out. Basement floor drains. The tub in the guest bathroom nobody visits. The laundry sink you forgot you had. That trap water evaporates in a few weeks, and now there is an open hallway from the sewer main straight into your home. First sign is usually a smell you cannot quite place. The fix is the cheapest thing on this whole list. Once a month, walk the house and pour a pitcher of water down every drain that never gets used. Add a spoonful of cooking oil on top and it will evaporate slower. That is the whole job. No smell, no roaches, no visitors for the price of a glass of water. Number 5. The bucket. Number 5. The bucket. Every old plumber keeps a mental museum, and mine is a 5-gallon bucket of things nobody believes until they see it with their own eyes. A full set of car keys, remote fob and all. A flip phone that's still powered on after a rinse, and no, do not try that at home. 17 toothbrushes out of a single duplex. 17. A drill bit some earlier fellow dropped and left behind like a little gift. And one time, a goldfish, alive and deeply annoyed, living in a P-trap 2 full days after his funeral at sea. Now, how does all of that get in there? Simple. The toilet tank lid and the edge of the bathroom sink are the 2 worst shelves in America. Things slide, things drop. Keys ride up and out of a back pocket the second you stand up, and the bowl is right there waiting. So here are the house rules. Nothing lives on the tank lid. Not keys, not a phone, not glasses. Pockets get emptied somewhere that is not a bathroom. And the golden rule, the one that matters most. The moment anything falls into any drain, the water goes off, and it stays off. Hold on to that rule, because it is the entire reason number 3 on this list has a happy ending. Number 4. The arm. Not a real one. Settle down. A root. Out of a clay sewer lateral, I once pulled a root thicker than my forearm, with a root ball behind it the size of a bed pillow. That house went up in the 50s, back when sewer lines were clay tile laid in short sections with a joint every few feet. A thirsty tree, a silver maple in this case, finds the moisture seeping at those joints and sends in feeder roots, fine as sewing thread. Give them a few quiet years, and thread becomes rope, and rope becomes the arm I am telling you about, drinking your line like a straw and catching everything you flush. Here is what it looks like from inside the house, and I want you to remember this pattern. The lowest drain gurgles when the washing machine empties. The tub burps when a toilet flushes. Everything gets slow at the same time, everywhere. One slow sink is a sink problem. The whole house slow is a main line talking to you, and early is cheap. A mechanical rotting once a year runs a couple $100. A foaming root treatment you pour into a clean-out twice a year runs about $20, and it keeps threads from ever becoming arms. If you are buying an older house, pay for a camera inspection of that lateral before you sign anything. And do not ever let a salesman talk you into a $15,000 dig-up until a camera has shown you, on a screen, exactly why. Number 3. The ring. Number 3. The ring. A young woman called me one afternoon, barely able to get the words out. Her wedding ring, which had been her husband's grandmother's ring, slipped off her finger while she was rinsing dishes and went straight down the kitchen drain. First thing I asked her on the phone was, "Have you run any water since it happened?" She had not. Smart lady. My Uncle Ray taught me that rule the very first week I ever carried his tool bag. When something falls into a drain, the water goes off and it stays off, because water is the only thing that can carry it beyond your reach. I got there, put a bucket under the P-trap, spun off the 2 slip nuts by hand, and tipped that trap into the bucket. The ring rolled out shining like the day it was made. You see, That bend under your sink is not just there to hold water and block sewer gas. It is a catch basin, and heavy things, rings, earrings, loose stones, drop straight to the bottom of it and sit there waiting, as long as nobody washes them onward. She cried when I set it back in her hand. Between you and me, I got a little something in my eye myself. The whole job took 4 minutes, and no, I did not charge her. Some calls you just don't. One caution before you try it. If your sink has a disposal, do not run it. Kill the power at the plug or the breaker, and check the chamber with a flashlight and a grabber tool. Never your fingers. But water off, bucket under, 2 slip nuts. You do not need me for this one. That is the point. Number 2. The rope, number 2. The rope. Out of a mainline cleanout, 2 of us once pulled what I can only describe as a rope. Gray, braided, dripping, and better than 50 feet of it, hand over hand. The both of us leaned back like a tug-of-war team against the sewer itself. You already know what it was. Wipes. Every package in that house said, flushable. And I suppose that is true the same way a sock is flushable. It will go down. It will never break down. Plain toilet paper falls apart in seconds. That is what it is engineered to do. A wipe is a woven fabric sheet, and down in the line, it braids itself together with grease and hair into something close to cable. Cities are fighting mats of this stuff the size of school buses in their sewers right now. And what a city fights by the ton. Your house loses to by the ounce. All it takes is one snag on a rough pipe joint and a couple of loyal months of flushing. Baby wipes, makeup wipes, the ones stamped septic safe, paper towels during a shortage, all of it, same story. The fix costs $10. A small trash can with a lid sits beside the toilet, and every wipe in the house goes into it. Forever, no matter what the package claims. And if you think 50 feet of rope is bad, the number 1 spot took 2 grown men and a hand truck. Number 1, the Berg. A little rental house, 1 kitchen, and 30-odd years of frying, with every pan rinsed down the same sink under plenty of hot water. When we finally cut open that main line, what came out did not pour. It came out in chunks, white and gray, hard as old candle wax, and the biggest piece filled a mortar tub that took me and another grown man to lift onto the hand truck, 60 pounds if it was an ounce. Here is what folks get wrong about grease. It does not stay liquid, and it does not even stay grease. It cools on the pipe walls, it grabs the minerals riding in your water, and it slowly turns into something close to soap. The old, hard, yellow kind. Ask me how I know what 30-year-old drain soap smells like. And here is the myth that builds a berg in the first place. Chasing grease with hot water fixes nothing. The hot water just carries it 10 or 15 feet further down the line, where everything cools back off in a pipe you cannot reach and sets up shop for good. Squirting dish soap behind it does about the same. Breaks it up for a minute, then it all settles back down further along. My Uncle Ray kept a coffee can on the back of his stove his entire life, and there is one on mine right now. Grease gets poured in the can sets up, the can goes in the trash. Greasy pans get a wipe with a paper towel before they ever touch dishwater. That is a 5-cent paper towel standing between you and a $400 jetting bill. Easiest math in this whole video. Bonus. Tip. Pull. Don't push. Hold on before you go anywhere. Here is the tip I save for folks who stay to the end. Most clogged sinks and tubs do not need a snake, and they surely do not need a jug of chemicals. They need the shop vac in your garage. When a plunger will not move a clog, everybody's instinct is to push. A coat hanger, a stick, harder plunging. Half the time, you just pack that clog in tighter, like tamping tobacco. Do the opposite. Pull it. Set a wet-dry vac to pick up liquids, bag out, paper filter out. Press the hose end down tight over the drain, pack a wet rag around it for a seal, and stuff a second wet rag into the overflow opening so you are not just pulling air. Then, short bursts, 3 or 4 seconds at a time, and listen for the slurp. Half the clog calls I ever charged money for could have been handled in 5 minutes by a $40 shop vac the homeowner already owned. Label that vac afterward, though. That one is the drain vac now. Trust me, that is the whole bucket, friend. If you stayed to the end, you are my kind of homeowner. Subscribing to the Vintage Pipefitter is free, takes 1 tap, and it keeps these walkthroughs showing up every week. 45 years of trade lessons served one honest repair at a time. Thank you for spending part of your day with an old pipe fitter. I will see you next week.